What's up? What's up?
Bolt Bros
in the house. What's up?
In the house. Let's go. I think we got a lot of baby blue in this screen, by the way.
Yeah, we do. We got a lot of baby blue right now.
Powder blues. Don't let the powder blues fool you, baby.
Don't let them fool you, baby. Don't let them fool you.
Yo, I didn't get the memo, guys. Well, why didn't you keep me in that email, man? What's up?
I know, right?
It's all right, but
I got we can play now.
We can play now.
I got the season ticket holder shirt on though, so yeah.
Oh, let's go! Yeah,
Wait,
I saw some people getting that.
It's actually like a Bill Belichick sweater type thing. It's got a hood.
Oh, it does. Oh, that's cool.
But it's a short sleeve, so it's the Bill Belichick special.
Belichick special, dude.
Bill Belichick, dude. Nothing wrong with that,
man. Oh man, but we got a good show here today, guys. We're going to talk a little bit about kind of the Hall of Fame situation. Comeback Player of the Year awards, kind of the NFL awards. We got some player news that we're going to just kind of talk about, salary cap and all these different things. So we got a jam-packed show here, boys.
Yep.
So yeah, we're looking forward to it on Super Bowl weekend. So I'm ready for it. If you guys are ready for it,
that's right.
Yeah,
Bolt Bros, let's go.
Bolt Bros, let's go.
Let's go.
Oh, I almost hit the end stream button, dude.
Oh
no!
Yeah.
That would have been bad.
It's that Premier, man. You watching the Bolt Bros podcast. Stay tuned.
Charter blue dreams, stadium lights gleam. Bolt Bros on the beat, lead stream. Chargers rocking speeds, Sonic supreme. From the podcast to the field, we're a team. Charged up, Bolt Bros on the night. LA Thunder in electric delight. Bolts in the battle, sparking bright. Charged up, ride the lightning, feel the fright.
Oh boy, that would have been really bad if I'd hit the end stream button.
Be like, let's go out of here. We're done. See you later.
Hey, real short show. See you later. Bye.
All right, I guess that was it. Cool. All right.
That's fantastic.
That's great.
Fantastic, dude. But
well, we all know it's the Super Bowl week, and unfortunately, our beloved Chargers are not participating. Well, I guess we are participating. We're participating on the sidelines,
Yeah.
I'm participating in the boycott. That's what I'm doing.
Yeah, that's kind of where I'm at too, dude. Ain't nobody cares. Ain't nobody cares.
Yeah.
But we do got our first super chat here. James, you want to decrypt this from Aether here? Here we go.
Yeah, there we go. So first super chat from Aether. What's going on, my guy, dude?
Hey.
Oh, $4.99. Appreciate it, my guy. So basically, are you going to be happy or sad if we go edge in round one? He's excited, bringing juice to us, and we're going to talk a little bit about some of the players and such too, and making decisions and everything. But it's kind of funny. I was thinking about it this morning, and I was like, man, what if you end up going with like Mike Green for like pick 22? Just add some youth, put Tulitu Pelotu on the edge, and just make him a full-time starter.
Sure.
I don't think it's a bad situation. I wouldn't say problem, but I definitely think that the edge group could be very, very strong pretty quickly for this team. So, and I did see some of the mock drafts that Mike Green was going to go to the Ravens. So it's kind of along the same lines. Like, hey, we're Ravens West, right? Like
Ravens West. That's
Ravens West over here, dude.
Exactly.
So, I mean, I'd have no problem with it. And once again, I mean, Ortiz talks about just getting best player available, right? So if that's the best player available at 22, that's what it's going to be.
That's right.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how it plays out. I do think, the really free agency is going to really determine how the draft is going to progress, right? Because I do think that bottom line, I personally think we're going to get a center, we're going to get a right guard, probably get a wide receiver, maybe a tight end. And then obviously we got to sign Rashawn Slater to a long-term contract potentially. And there's some other caveats to that. If you get that, then you say, okay, day one, we feel comfortable with our team. Then you build in the draft and you just say, let's just go for it. Right. What do you think? Who's best available at any given moment? So that's my take on it at least. But anyways, in the chat, who do you guys want to see win the Super Bowl? You guys want to see Kermit the Frog win or Sam the American Eagle? Or what's this guy's name? What was it? The
Sam the Eagle?
That's Sam the Eagle. Yeah, Sam the Eagle. Yeah.
Sam the Eagle.
No, it is right. But I will say this though too: if we actually did get a edge in the first round, that'd be totally awesome. And like the best guy that I know as of right now, like without having to do much research, it would be Jack Sawyer. So yes,
Hey,
I want that guy. I want that guy. That'd be awesome.
I want that jersey, bro.
I want that jersey. That's right. That's for sure.
Get that
You know what?
Sawyer Chargers jersey.
That's right.
Yeah,
Yo.
all of us got to get that, dude. We got to rock that jersey.
And I've seen
I'll
even.
call claimsies on the navy of that one.
Dude, there you go. Oh yeah,
I like that.
we got to choose our own color for that
Yes,
jersey.
that's right.
Man,
That's
if we're
right.
gonna get it. So got it. Got
We
it.
can't have the same colors. Yeah.
No doubt, dude. No doubt. But yeah, I mean, the Jack Sawyer would be awesome too. I mean, he's been kind of slated a little bit more in the second round, possibly back end of the first. But yeah, I think he would be great. I think he would be a stellar pick. I mean, once again, an Ohio State guy back on the team as an edge guy for us. So who knows? Who knows? Once again, Michigan and Ohio State had a big rivalry. So I mean, Harbaugh's had a lot of look on him and tape on him. So.
Did you watch? I think it was Harbaugh's conversation with, gosh, who was it this week? He was interviewed by drawing a blank on his name. He used to be on ESPN. Anyways, he basically said, "Yeah, at the end of the day, I don't really care about the rivalry anymore." It's like I do cheer for Michigan at this point, but whatever. I don't worry about that anymore. And he even talked about the Super Bowl. Harbaugh was like, "Yeah, I want to see whoever is playing harder win the game." And I was like, that's a really good point, right?
Yep.
I know as fans, we should probably feel that way, right? But it's a little hard for us. We tend to have that, but we're also not in the trenches like these guys are as well, too. But
right.
Exactly.
My point is, I think Harbaugh is not really too concerned about, players to get, from Michigan or Ohio State or whoever. He just wants the best available players, period. And that's how it's evaluated.
Sure.
Yep. No doubt. No doubt. I mean, bottom line, I think that's kind of really the right move for us. I mean, from this point on, we're going to be probably back in first round picks at this point for this team. So last year they freaking home run the first two picks for us with Ladd and Joe Alt. So
yeah, that's true.
Hope we have a recap of that, and we pretty much have 11 picks. It's going to happen this season for us with 3 comp picks coming in here later on. So it's going to be great. But speaking of greatest player in NFL history, Dean Spanos basically said that Antonio Gates is an amazing human being who happens to be one of the greatest players in NFL history. And once again, he got into the Hall of Fame. Second time around. It should have been the first time around. But Antonio Gates is in the Hall of Fame. And congrats to Antonio, man. It's awesome to be in there. Let's go.
That's right.
You disrespected Antonio. Disrespect.
Yeah. I mean, dude, I was thinking about some of the early memories of Antonio Gates. I want to say it was a game in Cleveland. It was a snow game. And he caught this pass. And I want to say it was 2003, I believe, or something like that. Man, it was a snow game, kind of slippery around there. And he just caught this pass, like very flat-footed going through the snow and everything like that. And it was just like a great catch, great run after the catch. And he's just a dog, dude. Like I knew at that point, like he was going to be a very, very good tight end. And the guy just goes from college basketball from Kent State to an undrafted tight end, a guy that doesn't know the position, to basically a Hall of Famer and just being the best tight end in NFL history, essentially. Like, amazing to see. And the guy was an absolute menace on the field, very hard to cover. I think I even saw another quote. I think Travis Kelce said he made tight ends cool again. Or no, that was Rob Gronkowski.
Oh, Gronkowski
tight
said
ends
that,
cool again.
Yeah.
And the guy's a menace.
Yeah. And Kelce did say that, like it was a shame that he did not get the Hall of Fame nomination last year, because you look at Antonio Gates' stats, he's super far ahead of like everybody else.
Crazy.
As far as tight ends go, so it's like current, like last 10 years or something like that. I think the only other person was like Tony Gonzalez. Was he also really high up there? Yep. So it's just But hey, they made it right. They got him in this time. Super stoked for it. And so just so you guys all know, in the chat on March 1st, there is another Chargers Bolt fam meet and greet thing with Antonio Gates, and he's going to be there, and he's going to be doing signings, and he's going to be able to meet people and talk to them, get you can get a jersey. It'll be signed by Antonio Gates. It'll say Hall of Fame inscription written on it as well. So if you guys haven't heard about that one yet, go to Chargers Bolt Family on Facebook and get your tickets because they will probably be selling out here pretty soon. So yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
100%.
Well, especially since we had such a great season as well, too. And again, Charger football is back, guys. I mean, look, we're going to talk more about the draft. We're going to talk about free agency as well, too. I do think there's going to be a lot we can talk about. But again, big props to Antonio Gates. I think he was the first Charger jersey I purchased. But I do have a jersey prior to that. Was that the Natron Means jersey?
Yeah, that's mine. That's mine.
The one that you
stole.
That's my jersey.
Yeah, you want to for James. Yeah.
I should have worn the jersey today. I should have worn the jersey.
Jeez.
Actually, no. Actually, I think the first jersey I did buy. Actually, I'm sorry, it was Natron Means. It was Natron Means. That's right.
No, you didn't buy that one. Dad bought that for you too.
Oh, that's a good point. Well, maybe the first one that I owned. How about that? First one I owned.
Yeah.
I remember when we drafted Ryan Leaf. I'm very, very positive I special ordered that jersey, and I got that jersey. I have no idea where that jersey went. That Ryan Leaf jersey.
Yeah, you sent that to the Goodwill like real fast, probably.
Yeah, see you later, man. See you later. But it's interesting to look ahead at the notable first-time eligible players for 2026. And people started talking about Phillip Rivers, like, what if he gets in first ballot? But then you go against like Drew Brees, Frank Gore, Jason Witten, Marquise Pouncey, LaShawn McCoy, Larry Fitzgerald. Then Eli Manning didn't get this first ballot Hall of Fame. So, and then after 2026, 2027, Ben Roethlisberger is up for Hall of Fame. Like, in the chat, I would be interested to ask, like, where do you think Phillip Rivers is going to be able to get a Hall of Fame? Is it going to be, how cool would it be if they put three quarterbacks, Roethlisberger, Eli Manning, and Phillip Rivers at the same time? I don't think it's ever been done, and I don't know if it could even be done. But what if something like that was to happen, where they put, like, the 2004 draft class essentially together? Like, that would be kind of cool to be able to see.
That would be kind of interesting, actually.
Pretty amazing.
Yeah, that could be cool. I mean, he'll hear the big question does come into play though. Still, it's like, okay, is Phillip Rivers the Hall of Fame material? And I 100% say yes, because and here's why. Like, I mean, he is the embodiment of true grit. I mean, he played in the playoffs games with not one, not two, but three knee injuries, because he had like an MCL and an ACL like tear on one leg. Knee and one of them, the others like on the other one. So like he was I don't know how he was standing, but he somehow made it work, and he was still like balling out, man. So, and then after that, I think it was like 300 games straight, not missing a single game started or something like that.
Absolute Iron Man,
dude.
Absolute Iron Man.
Yeah. So like, and obviously stats wise, by like Chargers like history, of course, at least. He's definitely like the leading touchdown passer we've ever had, leading passing, all that stuff. So, I mean, by Charger standards, 100% he is, but by NFL standards, I don't know. He's definitely in that par with Dan Fouts and Dan Marino of being so great, but never getting to the Super Bowl.
Yep.
Yeah, and it's unfortunate, right? And I was having a conversation, and guys in the chat too, let me know what you guys think about it. And also, bros, you guys obviously want to know what you think about this too. But everyone dogs on Justin Herbert, and they just say, "Oh, he can't win the game. He's not this and that." But look at the two teams in the Super Bowl, right? Both those teams have great offensive lines. They have a great defense, or at least an above average defense. Which the Chargers had above average defense. We're number one in the league. But offensively, we struggled. We didn't have, we had injuries on the running back room. I think if J.K. Dobbins was healthy all season, would have been different. Don't have the best wide receivers, right? Ladd McConkey balled out, up and down with Quentin Johnston. I just felt like we were just a few pieces off to really contending. Do you guys feel the same way? And do you really think that that's what's been holding Justin Herbert back in his career? Just that? Or do you think it's something else? Do you think it's a mental thing? I don't know. I want to hear your thoughts in the chat. What do you guys think on that as well, too?
Yeah, and it's a thing. It's funny. The other day I was out playing pickleball, and this guy was rocking a Chargers, shirt and everything. And I was like, look, the whole thing we have to realize that year one with Jim Harbaugh, there was a lot of 1-year base contracts. For best year that Justin Herbert's ever had, as in wins, loss too, and quarterback rating. We did it with less players that were just kind of gap fillers at this point, and we still had a very successful season.
Yeah.
Like, you still got to the playoffs. You had 11-6 record and everything too. You got to think now you're going into an offseason where you got money to spend for once, and you got the opportunity to be able to make this team even better at this point. So fill those gaps, maybe bring back some of those players. I mean, there's definitely some players that love to be able to see back here that we had in the last year. So, I mean, I think it's only going to be a better situation for Justin Herbert this time. And I think it's the better surrounding situation, coaching staff specifically, that Justin Herbert's going to have so far in his career. So I think this is going to be, this team's only going to go up from this point. The plane is still ascending, right? And I feel like we got a great chance that this plane's going to get even higher up in the clouds. So it's going to be good to see.
Yeah. You guys see, Herbert was 9th in the MVP race, which kind of surprised me.
That makes me mad. That still makes me mad because, I lost my bet on that one. So,
that was a bit ridiculous to me too. But again, but this was my argument, right? Phil Rivers, I don't think really ever had a full team. I think he had a full team a couple times.
Yeah.
A couple times, a couple years.
Yeah.
But you get with a team, like the Eagles or the Chiefs, and they always seem, dude, come on. They got Hopkins midseason, like they got tons of weapons, and I just feel like it's frustrating. It's not an individual sport. It's a team sport. I mean, even like a Drew Brees always had good players around him, and they're still trying to figure out salary cap hell from those contracts, right? They've just been robbing Peter to pay Paul to get those contracts to work. Anyways, I just look at it and say, probably on this list right here, the guy that probably didn't have the best team around him would be Philip Rivers, in my opinion.
Yep.
So that's just my take,
Yep,
So.
I agree. I mean, Philip Rivers, the 2010 Chargers, that's the notorious one where you have the number one defense, number one offense, and the worst special teams that don't make the playoffs.
That's right.
That's like a perfect encapsulation of like what Rivers had to deal with. Like, just an absolute menace defense, absolute menace offense. But then the third part of the whole team just sucked and freaking blew it for the dang team, dude. Like, that he was trying his best. I mean, once again, even during like his best seasons, essentially, we're going to the NFC Championship game under Norv Turner. Like, that was his best seasons. And like, it was a lot on Philip Rivers, man. And you know what? It is what it is, man. And bottom line, Philip Rivers is had a really solid career. It's going to be interesting to see where he leads into this Hall of Fame situation going 2026. I mean, even if you look at like this list, Drew Brees won a Super Bowl. Pouncey, I think he was on the Steelers when they won a Super Bowl.
Yeah.
I don't think McCoy won a Super Bowl.
I don't think Frank Gore did either, right?
I don't think Frank Gore did either at all. No, he definitely did not. So, so it's going to be an interesting one. I mean, I would probably say for sure in this list, Brees will make it. Fitzgerald will make it. Frank Gore was an absolute beast. I think he should probably make it.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be how many other people are going to go from there. I'm not sure. But it would be kind of cool to be able to see Drew Brees and Philip Rivers go in at the same time. They started both at the Chargers.
Yeah.
And it would be kind of a cool thing to be able to see that happen.
Yeah, I agree. But again, we can talk about the Hall of Fames forever. But I mean, it will be interesting to see how it plays out. But yeah, again, big ups to our boy Gates. I mean, he changed the game, guys. I mean, that's the thing.
Yeah.
I mean,
and that's the biggest thing with the Hall of Fame people, because like that's looking at individual merits, I think, because Super Bowls are necessarily those are team wins, not necessarily single player wins. And so
exactly,
if the player actually changed the position in some way and changed like how it's done and how like defenses play against them, I think that's what matters more when it comes to the Hall of Fame type of positions,
right?
And so that's why Frank Gore in that list is definitely a shoe in, because he changed a lot about how running backs are played, I think, So
that's a good point. Yeah.
He was an absolute Iron Man too, and the guy played for, I swear, 20-something seasons or something crazy.
Yeah, he really did.
Yeah. As a running back, that is unheard of, dude.
That's
unheard of.
Yeah, definitely gotta keep an eye on his health history for this one.
Yeah, no doubt.
But I wanted to bring up obviously our coaching staff, right? Just have a general discussion around that. We got some big choices to make, right, this offseason.
What?
And it's going to be really interesting to see what happens. We're going to talk more about free agency, kind of where we think free agency could go.
Say it ain't so. Say it ain't so, LOD. Say it ain't so.
Telesco coming back to the Chargers? No way, dude.
Is he gonna be the janitor? I hope so.
No way, dude.
Yeah,
that would be kind of interesting. That would be a Spanos type thing.
Yes, it would be
if they did that. That wouldn't be a Harbaugh thing.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, for sure. But again, I do think though that there's a lot of choices that have to be made, but it's a good start. By the way, if you have not listened to this interview with these two gentlemen right here, it is absolutely worth your time. It's like 40 minutes. It's on the Chargers YouTube page. You're watching us most likely on YouTube. Go watch it. It's a great interview because, like Harbaugh says, hey man, every player was elevated. Every player got better. Every player improved. That's all we want. That's all we asked for. And it's a good start. We didn't end the way we wanted to, of course, but at the end of the day, I think they also recognized there were a few spots that were tough. We'll talk about a few of them and where a few of these can go, but we want to just kind of talk, put on the GM hat a little bit today. But James, I know you did a video on this new defensive back coach. Maybe give us a little bit of an idea of the new coaching hire that we have for secondaries.
Yeah, absolutely. And I did a whole video about that too. And so this is actually our new safety coach who came from Florida State. He was originally the defensive coordinator there, Adam Fuller. And, it's an interesting thing about him. I mean, and I highlighted one thing that he emphasizes a lot on turnovers, and he does that a lot within practices in certain situations, 1-on-1, 7-on-7s, whatever it might be. He emphasizes a lot of that. It was an interesting thing in the chat, and when we did the video and everything like that, there was a fair amount of people in there that said, hey, I'm basically a Noel fan, and he was not good as a defensive coordinator. And I'm totally get it. Not every defensive coordinator is going to pan out and do a great job or anything like that. But the thing about Adam Fuller is that he does have a lot of experience at a lot of different positions throughout the NFL, or I should say his college career. Yeah. And this is his first leap to the NFL. Maybe things are going to translate a little bit better on the NFL side of things, but our safety group played so good last season that it sucks to see Chris O'Leary leaving to go to Western Michigan and be the DC over there. But you want to bring in that young talent, those guys that could try to be able to maybe elevate our safeties group a little bit more. A guy that does have an experience as a defensive coordinator and kind of help maybe a little bit with the defensive side of things. But I'm interested to see how Adam Fuller does a transition from college to the NFL. I mean, he's coming in a great coaching situation with everybody on this coaching staff. So, and he could be another guy just to learn from the Harbaugh system. So, and I'm all game for it, man. I think it's going to be an interesting one to keep an eye on.
Yeah. And I was talking to you about this too, James. It's interesting to me that we are getting a coach from college. We're not getting a coach from the pros, which you've got to wonder why. And did you ever come up with, was there any connection to Harbaugh at all? There
was no connection. I didn't see any connection, but I mean, the only connection that we really have with Adam Fuller is like players. So you could obviously go back to Asante Samuel Jr. and Derwin James. I mean, those are pretty much the only guys. Now, he didn't coach Derwin James, obviously, but at the same side, he probably did coach Asante Samuel Jr. for a bit.
Interesting. Okay. Well,
hey, there you go.
Yeah, and that's good. And that's good. Yeah, hey, eighth year. We getting paid, yo.
Getting paid, dude. Let's go.
I can
99 there, man. Appreciate it, my guy. So
yeah, always
go over his question here. It's my GM will shock the NFL draft that night. Round 1, edge. Round 2, tight end. Round 3, RB. Round 4 and 5 back-to-back wide receiver. Herbie, you got weapons. MVP season. Let's go. 15-3 AFC monster. Bolt up. I mean, if you really think about it, and you go back to some of the Derwin James interviews that he had this week with Micah Parsons, and he talked a little bit about like, hey, man, chill out on my guy. Chill out on Justin Herbert, dude. The guy knows what he's doing. Derwin James knows he just needs a couple weapons. And he knows that the lines basically are going to get a little bit better this year. I would be like, if there's some guard or something that comes to them at 22, I could totally see the Chargers going after a guard and calling it a weapon again at that point. Maybe even trying to find a way to trade back up to get a higher pick in round 2. Yeah. I mean, I'm very, very much about your whole idea about the tight end round 3 or round 2, round 3. That. Yep. I think the round 3 running back situation is really good. Like, I personally think we need to sign J.K. Dobbins back, and you need to basically, I think, dude, Scatterbo as a 2 back, I think would be awesome. Like, it would be awesome to see Scatterbo with the Chargers. I think it'd be a great pickup at 3. Possibly a little early for him, but I think 3 would be a pretty good balance for him, too. And once again, Scatterbo was going to be at the Senior Bowl, and he decided not to play there, so he was getting ready for the combine this month. So, but hey, I'm all for it, man. 15-3, let's go, dude. 15-3 is kind of an odd number, by the way.
That's just winning one playoff game, I guess.
Yeah, that's winning one playoff game.
That'll be one playoff game. Now, again, so I would say
it's got to be actually 17-3.
Yeah,
17-3.
I would say this: I think we're going to go 11-6 again next year. We're going to have a much harder schedule. But I think 11. Yeah, we're gonna have a much harder schedule. So, but again, I love the positivity, and I like your picks too because I like that 3rd round. You know, again, I do think that we're gonna go get some more veterans. You know, we're gonna get some more veteran players. We might get a tight end. I mean, one tight end that we talked about was guy from the Ravens. Gosh, why am I drawing?
Yeah, Mark Andrews.
Andrews, yes. And so I think we go get him probably pretty cheap after he dropped that ball in the playoff game.
Yeah.
So, and he's getting older, right? So my point is, like, I think there's a lot of players we could go get. You've talked about it already, but anyways, oh, here we go. So he says, 14-3. There we go. That makes sense.
Let's go, dude. Once again,
17-3, man. We want all the way to the Super Bowl.
Go all the way to the Super Bowl. Yeah. Well, and the thing is, our home schedule is really, really tough. And based upon the rumors of us going to Brazil, you would assume that's probably going to be our week 1 game.
Yeah,
if they're going to follow along what the Packers-Eagles game was this season. So probably be a Friday night type game, which, man, it would be really cool to go to Brazil for that game. That would be awesome to go to that one. But, yeah, there's a lot of things, too. Even to go back to the edge conversation, too. Trey Hendrickson's looking for a contract. Bengals don't got a lot of money to deal with. They got Jamar Chase they got to deal with. There's a lot of things with the edge position that could really, really shift around. Obviously, the Myles Garrett situation. I really think this whole March free agency is going to be insane of what's going on with players getting traded, dumped, all these different things. I mean, that's all going to start beginning of March, guys. And there's going to be a lot of rumors out there. I mean, we even threw out that picture that T. Higgins was in California. Now, we got 3 teams in California. Maybe it was us poking around, checking it out. I mean, Deion Henley talked about how we did talk about, like, DK Metcalf and T. Higgins, like, hey, I'm trying to recruit guys right now, and one's into it, one's kind of on the fence. So there's a lot going on here, and it's going to be great to watch, guys.
We got some cooking in the backfield. You know, so it's nice to see that the players are putting in some work. You know, trying to bring people over. You know,
and I think overall now LOD says T. Higgins has a home in Cali. If that's true, I did not know that, but it wouldn't surprise me.
Yeah.
I will say this though, man, what about these fires, man? Right. So you worry about, hey, we'll buy a home that's fireproof, right? I mean, come on now, dude. Like, that was just ridiculous. You know, I mean,
I'll say this though, like the picture that we sent about T. Higgins, it looked like he was in an office building though, because you see the office tiles were up on the top. They looked kind of new to me, so that could have been the bolt. You know,
we're looking hard at that ceiling. Yeah, that might be the bolt. I think that's in the workout room. I believe.
Maybe.
Oh boy, this would be crazy. Devontae Adams playing for the Chargers, man. After we freaking ripped him on social media, boy. I tell you what, boy.
Pop-Tart, dude.
Oh boy.
I don't think so. I don't think that'll happen. I think he should probably retire with Rodgers. I think Rodgers should retire here too this year.
Yeah,
Rodgers
still got some years in him, dude.
He's all right. He's fine. But yeah, Rodgers probably done. He's an old horse that needs to be put out to pasture at the moment right now. That's for sure.
What if you get Devontae? You bring back Keenan Allen just to be able to get him to come and retire, maybe for a year or two or whatever he wants to be with the Chargers. Like, hey, move on with that. I'd be good with Ladd, Devontae, Allen. I mean, that's tough to deal with now. What do you do with QJ at that point?
Right.
Yeah, but QJ again, one more year under his belt. I mean, he improved a lot this year. One more year to be better too. So, I think it takes time for people to figure things out, right? Especially in the NFL. But we got one guy up on the screen here. So, and actually, did you pull up over the cap, James?
Yep.
Yeah, maybe pull that up, and then we could kind of discuss the cap situation. Let's have that conversation now, if you don't mind, because I do think this is where the conversation goes, where we've got to figure out where we go. Yeah, $63 million currently.
Yep. And once again, this number is not fixed yet. So when the new season starts, it kind of could be adjusted to where it goes up a 5% or whatever it might be. Remember, like last season, it kind of was that way. All of a sudden, everybody's like, whoa, it jumped up like 15% on everybody kind of thing. Yeah. So that number could be adjustable at that point too. So give or take, we've seen it at about 70 million-ish for salary cap, but that's kind of where we're sitting at, about 63.4 million, which is giving us plenty of money to work with. For sure. So
and look at his contract real quick. So just slide over. We can't see the dollars there.
Wow,
the weird cap. Yeah.
All right, let's see here. If you go and cut him, it would basically be at, and this doesn't make any sense now because this is like normal.
Try and squeeze the size. It looks a little weird. Zoom out on that. There we go. Much better. There we go.
There we go.
Okay, much better. Wow. Okay. Are you new here? Are you new here? What's going on here?
So if we cut him post June 1st, we get 25.3 million to basically work with. So give or take, we'll be adding 25.3 million to that 63 million. So give or take, will be almost about a 90 million-ish kind of range for that, for just getting rid of him. But then you got to look at Trey Pipkins. He's good as gone, in my opinion.
Yeah.
6.75 million on top of that. And a lot of people have been talking a bit about Gus Edwards at 3.125 million. So there's a lot of money that we could get to, close to $1 million or $100. I was going to say $1 million.
All right. Yeah.
To $100 million. So we got a chance that we could have a lot of money to spend on a lot of free agencies players out there, which there's some good centers out there. There's, Trey Smith is the guy that's going to be the right guard. That's the number one guy that's on the Chiefs that's playing this weekend. Obviously trades that could be happening. There's Myles Garrett talks. There's, the Trey Hendrickson situation. There's a lot we could really do with this salary cap, guys.
Yeah. Even by keeping Joey Bosa, we still got a lot we can do with it. I mean, I just remember too, is that we went from, what was it? 30 million in the red to 30 million with the surplus, So dude, if we have 60 million, man, imagine how much he's going to be able to cook with that, so we might be able to just keep Joey Bosa, but I don't know, man. I mean, I know a lot of us kind of think that we can let him go, just let him walk because of how difficult he's been for the years, but I don't know. I mean, if we can keep him, I say keep him.
Yeah. That's a lot of money though.
It's a lot of money for a guy.
That is a lot of money. And He has literally been on the field, I think, the last 3 years, 14 games, something like that.
Yeah,
so
it's not been very good. Raisin Bran, remember Raisin Bran Bosa? Yeah.
So
I can understand that even more now, though, because he didn't want to play with Brandon Staley, I should say. I mean, let me rephrase that. He didn't want to play with Booty Stank. So
Booty Stank.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, I get that. He's like, dude, he's like, just I don't like my boss. I don't want to play.
Yeah.
So let me fake this injury or something like that. Yeah.
So good.
So Miguel says you need to take the blue chews. That's a wild comment you just made. I think everyone believes that he is gone no matter what, right? And it makes no sense to keep him. And it sucks because Joey Bosa is great. I got his jersey. I think I've worn it twice my whole life, unfortunately. But at the end of the day, $25 million you could do a lot with, right? You could probably give that money right to, Rashawn Slater, right? Right.
Yeah, true.
Would you rather have Rashawn Slater or Joey Bosa? Rashawn Slater for sure.
Definitely.
You're getting more value for him, So again, it's, who knows? Maybe they restructure his contract. I highly doubt that'll happen, but you never know. But one of the guys I think we have to sign is J.K. Dobbins. Now I don't know. I did a video on it. They're saying that he wants about $4 million a year. It would be a $4 million in incentives, but a $4 million guaranteed. So it'd be like an $8 million total for 2 years, but with incentives.
Where do I sign the check?
Yeah, make it happen.
Dude, make it happen. It's like, like that's not a bad deal at all for J.K. Dobbins. Like,
not at all. And I think he'll have one more full off season to just get healthy, get his body right. And then LOD says, he took a pay cut last year, might do it again. But we'll see. But JK would be great. I would like JK. And the other guy, though, I would say is really Gus Edwards, though, because Gus Edwards, if you go back to that over the cap, you'd save about $3 million. So you could cut Gus Edwards and just pay J.K. Dobbins with that money and then go get a running back. So I guess my question to you guys and in the chat, would you cut Gus Edwards, give the money to J.K. Dobbins, and then just draft a running back or try and find someone else in the draft? What's your take on that as well, too?
Yeah. It's a tough situation. I mean, even to go back to Athair's, idea, third round going to RB, I think that's pretty much a lock in my opinion. And once again, we're going to have a surplus of amount of picks, and this is a pretty good running back draft. So there's a side to me where it's like, okay, say we go out and you have to, once again, J.K. Dobbins not getting comeback player of the year is pretty much an absolute snub. And he should have basically won that. Like, I know Joe Burrow had a phenomenal season. I know he had a wrist injury and everything too from last season and everything too. Came back and did his thing. I mean, the story of J.K. Dobbins and his history of injuries to do what he did this year is phenomenal. Like, I mean, I think the only thing that was knock on him is that he did go on IR for 4 games, and that probably pushed it back at that point. He could have had a 1,400 yard total season easily.
Yeah. I think that's really just was it, unfortunately, is that, like, because he missed those 4 games, went on IR, if he'd stayed healthy the entire year, 100%, hands down, he had to have been the comeback player of the year. But, like just you're saying, I do think that there is a quarterback bias towards a lot of those types of things.
Yeah.
So, but, it's just, it is what it is,
Well, and a lot of people in the chat saying, hey, we need, some people say triple cut Gus with Miguel. We got Darth Panic say need Gus and JK. I mean, the thing is, though, and then it's hard to really say, like, with Gus, like, he kind of started out the season kind of being like, oh, he's got a mystery injury, kind of wasn't necessarily around the team. I don't know if he was a little bummed to be on the team or something like that. Like, it was a weird situation with Gus. Like, I mean, the guy is an absolute big dude. I mean, he had one real good game against the Denver Broncos for us and did a really good job in that game for us to be able to fill in and get that dub for us. But it really is just one of those things that he is 30 years old. He is kind of getting up in that age. 30 as a running back is kind of that tough age to really be an effective running back. And, with a heavy running back draft, it's kind of tough to let him go. Now, Greg Roman talked about that JK and Gus are basically like his adopted children, essentially.
Yep.
And you will see where it leads with him. But I mean, it would be cool to be able to see like JK, Gus, and then one other running back that we do draft. I mean, I don't know if Kamani Vidal is going to be ready as, a blocker is kind of his situation. But who knows? I mean, I'm kind of a little on the fence with Gus, but I think it's really going to depend on what we do in the draft.
Right. Well,
yeah. And Roland agrees with me because, he knows I'm the smartest boat bro for sure. You know what I mean? Look, let's just, oh, I'm sorry, what? There we go. Thank you, Roland. I appreciate that. I'm confused with that soundtrack. No, that ain't about right. No,
I'm just saying you cuckoo, man.
Really? Okay, here we go.
Well, I mean, but I kind of do agree with y'all though too in a lot of ways because Gus Edwards, he didn't perform the way that he should have. Like he even on those like tough yard situations, he was not getting like the yardage that we would hope that he would got. He wasn't breaking many tackles. He just wasn't. I don't know. Maybe his heart just wasn't in it. It didn't seem super. I don't know. Something was there missing from his play, and obviously, like I think Ortiz and Harbaugh, they gotta suss that out with him and figure out what's going on.
Well, he was banged up. Remember, he was banged up in camp, and then he just never got healthy. I think that's part of the problem. He just was never healthy. So it wasn't really that he. Well, at least it didn't seem to me like he didn't want to play. He just kind of couldn't play, and I think it was a mixture of injuries. I think that's really what it was because I think it was a high ankle sprain, and then he just never quite seemed to get himself to where he needed to be. He had like 1 or 2 good games, but man.
Yeah.
Well, remember late in the season, who did we acquire? Ezekiel Elliott.
True.
It kind of makes you think a little bit like, why would you get a guy that late in the season? And I understand like thinking like, all right, get a veteran guy that you're going to go in the playoffs and everything like that. But maybe they just had to look to see kind of what Ezekiel Elliott could be. Like, obviously Ezekiel Elliott in the past, I mean, he's not the same dude that was just eating constantly. And he's not that same guy, but I don't know. There's a reason why they picked him up that late. I don't know. I definitely am crazy for saying that, but what if Ezekiel Elliott ends up being a 2 or a 3?
I think he's going to want a bunch of money though too. That's the thing.
Sure.
He's not going to want to.
He's a big name.
That's the big thing. But
he was also just ring chasing. So
let's see. Let's see. I'm curious. I'm curious to see what he would want in.
I mean, I don't know. I don't know. Ezekiel Elliott would be that heavy. Like, because I mean, he's really once again he hasn't had a huge year for a while. Ezekiel Elliott contract.
Oh, actually, no, yeah. So it's just right now it's $2 million.
Yeah.
So you could probably sign him for $2 million. So, that's actually not too bad. I mean, he's old, right? He can't go carry the ball a ton. But if you kept Elliott, I don't know. So I mean, that's tough. That's the hard part about it, right? You know. But man, the thing about Gus though is when he's healthy, that guy's a bowling ball coming down the hill, dude.
Yeah,
and
he really is.
I mean, look how big he is. The guy's freaking huge. Come on now.
Yeah.
I mean, what
almost
the year
me? You know what I mean?
Yeah. This guy, dude. This guy. But you got to look at Gus Edwards the year before when Gus Edwards with the Ravens. What did he have? 12 or 13 touchdowns with the Ravens year prior on 198 attempts, 810 yards, 4.1 a carry. I mean, he did great. So this might have just been a fluke year, but once again, Gus will be 30 going into the season too. But I mean, he's a 6'1" running back, big bowling ball kind of guy. And I mean, I personally, in my opinion, I think we're still going to go out there and, we're going to draft a running back. You want to get as much juice as you possibly can. You need plans just to make sure one guy goes down, you got another guy to step in kind of thing. And we'll see. We'll see where it goes.
Yeah. I don't know. Maybe we should probably just send Gus Edwards a bottle of Blue Chews just because he needs to bolt up a little bit more. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
We'll see where Gus goes, man. But it'll be interesting to see. That's things that we'll learn here very shortly. So
yeah, but I think going back to our discussion too, the guy we got to re-sign is this dude right here, man.
Great game.
Yeah, you've got to make sure you get him there. And I just don't see anyone on the offensive side of the ball. We need him, period, right? We got to bring him back, so and I think we can do it pretty cheaply, right? I mean, $4 million a year, that's not too bad. That's easy.
It's an interesting comment. LAD says, I think we picked up Zeke for a comp pick. That's kind of an interesting way, but I think there's a cutoff time for the comp picks too, that you can't necessarily get a comp pick if somebody ends up after a certain amount of months. And I don't think it has something to do with like maybe free agency or something like that. But that would be a slick move by Chef Ortiz if he did that, for sure. That would be slick if he did that. So, but the running back room is going to be an interesting one, guys. That's one to keep an eye on for sure.
That's definitely, yeah. So we may need to, the one guy that I know that is an expert on running back situationships with our team is the Chargers truther. We can bring him on there, and like we can get the lowdown on like what he wants from the running back room. And he would actually be able to give us some good insight on that. Obviously I know a lot of people kind of hate on him because he goes really hard about running backs and stuff like that, but hey, we'll see what happens, man. And the Super Bowl too, because he's really high about how Saquon Barkley really brought that Eagles team to the bowl, Yeah. So let's see what happens.
Well, but my only argument is that the running back has been a very devalued position in the NFL for a very long time. And you could argue all day, well, we need a running back. Well, it's also not a valuable position in the NFL's eyes, especially when we were so pass heavy. But that is also the other side of the argument, is that I think we have moved more. I mean, especially with the Harbaugh regime, we're moving more in that direction. So anyways.
Most definitely. I mean, I do think that with Barkley, though, that really brought running backs back to light and understand that they matter too, and so I think that's a big thing. But Trey Pipkins, I mean, we already kind of put it out there. I mean, we let go of Trey Pipkins, which he's been attacked quite a bit by the fan base, but we let him go. We saved $6.75 million, and so I think it's really one of those things. I think that we're gonna definitely look at right guard, and that's why the whole Trey Smith idea from the Kansas City Chiefs to try to pick him up, solidify that line even further. Now, I do really feel like, let's just say hypothetically we go back with Bradley Bozeman, bring him back for a center position, but we solidify the right guard position for him. I guarantee Bradley Bozeman will have a better year, because Trey Pipkins I felt like he was always on his skates. And once again, no knock on Trey Pipkins. I mean, he's going through injuries and everything too. He shifted around from a lot of positions up and down the line and everything too. He is essentially a tackle playing as a right guard kind of thing. There's a transition period there. Yeah. And, it just never seemed to really come together for him. But if we really solidify the right guard, and the way that we kept running the ball always up the gut too, we have got to work on that inside O-line, protect Herbert further, allow the run game to really cook. We got 2 elite tackles on this team. I mean, personally, I kept thinking we need to run a little bit more in the outside run scheme, and we kept always going to the inside run scheme. So, but this position is going to be big. I mean, Trey Pipkins is going to be a guy that I don't expect to be back on the team this next year, in my opinion. So,
yeah. And how much does that save us if we let him go on that point? I think it this like 6 million.
6.75 million. Yep.
Yeah. So I mean, it's very possible that we're going to let him go. So it's very, well, okay. So the question is then, could we just put Jamari Sawyer at that position? He's another one of those guys that have just been bounced around the line, up and down, and he really hasn't found a starting spot that he's always going to be in. So it's like, is that going to be what happens with Sawyer? Is he gonna jump on that spot there, you think?
Well, he was there at the end of the season.
Yeah, he was there at the end of the season.
Yeah. And he did okay, but not great, right? That's part of the argument, is that he wasn't. He was okay. Yeah. But Pipkins was okay, right? So and they moved Jamari in and out of that position a lot. And it's again, the guard's tough because you also got to pull. You've got to do a lot of different. The tackle needs to pull too, I guess. But but there's a lot more going on. And again, I think this is Elodie is right. He's a good backup. I still think he's okay. He's good. Yeah. But I don't know that he's the long-term answer. Right.
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
That'd be my only argument on that.
Yeah. I mean, I just watched a video on Instagram not too long ago where they were talking about that, where there's been a lot of times that the interior line, we need a lot of help there too, because there's multiple times that they were just blocking the center, the left guard, and the right guard were blocking one person. And, Alt was doing his job. Slater was doing his job. But I don't know, for whatever reason, all three of those linemen, and they just like, oh no, let's block this one guy. Like, what are you guys doing? What are you guys doing?
Yeah. It was really weird. But you got to give up to the Texans, man. They did a good job. They did a good job of, exploiting our weaknesses. Exactly. That's what they did. And you can sit back all day and hate on them for it, but they did it, so.
Right.
Well, even to say wide receivers, I mean, double team and Ladd, it's like, get rid of their weapon. That's their only weapon. That's the only Chargers weapon that could really hurt us. And I mean, even to say Ladd, what he did was phenomenal. I mean, this guy is big time Ladd, dude. Like, he'll go out there and make big game Ladd, dude. He'll go out there and make a big game happen. And he balled out and did his thing. It's just, we need another guy to really make sure that Ladd could be open. And that's definitely going to be a focus this year. I mean, I think was it Harbaugh or was it Ortiz? He was saying something like this might be the worst offense that Justin Herbert's could ever have under our regime, essentially. Like, this is pretty much going to be the worst offense, and we went 11-6. And best believe they're going to get this right, and this team could be absolutely scary. Even going back to Thayer's idea, there's a chance that we could go out and make this team absolutely elite and scary on paper. So
agreed.
We'll see.
Yeah, and I will say this too, dude. I don't know that I do get a little frustrated with some of the playing calling with Roman to some degree. I kind of felt like it got somewhat vanilla a few times. A lot of the same thing over and over again, but you're like, man, I don't know. There's arguments both ways on that, right? I looked at some of those other teams, in the playoffs, and like the Bills had some pretty interesting stuff, and the Lions look so interesting, and I don't know. I just wonder, but I really do think interior offensive line would be big. I do think Zion Johnson stays with us for one more year. We have him under contract anyways. He's cheap. We could cut him if he didn't work out too well, but I think we get a right guard, we get a center. I think in free agency, and then we make some decisions is in the draft is what I think. But it's a general thought. Yeah.
I mean, biggest thing, everything. That's kind of why we haven't really talked about the draft just yet, because we got to figure out what's going on with these players first, before we actually really decide, okay, these are the holes that we need to fill,
Yep, for sure. But Derwin James, I think I was thinking about doing a quick video on him. Let me know what you guys think in the chat that we could restructure Derwin James. Can you pull up his over the cap again, James?
Yeah.
Because I think it's like 12 million or something like that. See, Roland. See, Roland's my guy, dude. Roland's my guy.
Dude. This guy.
That guy, dude. Roland
guy.
understands excellence when he sees it. Okay, you know what I'm saying?
Is he a plant for you right now? Is he one of your friends? Is he your Tinder date from last night?
Yeah. What's going on here?
See, and Miguel said the same thing. Thank you.
Jeez.
Yeah, but this is a great point here, right? And again, Derwin James, I don't think he cares about money. I think he cares about winning a championship, right? And you say $7 million, you can pay somebody else to get in here, right? That's a good wide receiver. That's a good defensive back. That's something, Yep.
Well,
so
let's not forget though, too. Yeah, restructuring he's not losing that money.
No,
that money just goes to his pocket just like that instantly.
Yep.
So and then
frees up cap.
It frees up cap. Yeah. So like they can totally do that and be like, all right, great. They give us another $7 million right there. Like, let's get some more players. Like you've probably Derwin James is probably talking to some players as well and recruiting them on the side, and that could be it, Yeah.
I got some special blue chews for Kay Adams. I'll tell you what. Illegal moves. I tell you what, it's gonna be good. It's gonna be good.
Yeah.
Orchestral maneuvers in the dark, little OMD action. It'd be good.
Oh. No, LOD's he's got my back on that one. Here we go. Yeah, it was a grinder date. Yeah.
Oh,
grinder date. Yeah, there it is.
Snap.
There it is.
Oh, thank you, Carlos. I appreciate that.
Oh, there you go. All right.
I appreciate that.
Yeah. Oh, man. What is this chat? This chat's getting unhinged, dude.
Hey, we know who supports who here. Like that's what's up.
Yeah. Wait a minute here. It's gonna end up being Bolt Bro, not Bolt Bros anymore.
What do you mean?
Point,
what are you saying? Oh, because you're saying that you're gonna kick both of us out here?
We're gonna leave, dude. It's all about Andy now.
Oh,
dude.
yeah.
Okay, all right, yeah.
Hey, don't be jealous. Don't be hating. Don't be hating. It ain't no big deal. Come on now, don't be hating. Be participating. It's all good.
Hey, come on, twinkle, twinkle, baby, twinkle, twinkle.
Twinkle, twinkle, baby. No, but again, I think Derwin James, guys, do you want me to do a video on this? I do think this would make a lot of sense to me. A real quick restructure for Derwin James would be great. And like, heck, maybe even give him a longer term contract. I don't think he wants to leave the Chargers at all, man. And so I truly believe that this is good. This is good. And look, like freeing up a $7 million worth of cap space, man, we'd be right over about $100 million available, guys. You can do a lot with that. And Herbert down the road is going to restructure as well too at some point, right? So you'll restructure him a little bit, free up some more money. I just like it. So
Yep. I mean, it's totally possible. I mean, you got to look at what Derwin James is at right now. I mean, he's been with the Chargers for quite some time. He's age 28. You start kind of thinking, man, like you only got so many good years, right? And, you want to basically find a way to get to a Super Bowl and win one, right? And sometimes you take, I mean, it's not like a loss of money like what Kyle was saying. I mean, it's basically just like putting money in your pocket right then and there. It's like a signing bonus or something they could just give him and move on from there. So, we'll see. We'll see what happens. It's going to be an interesting offseason, though.
It will be.
100%, yeah.
Yeah, but it would be nice to get to 100 mil available. We get 100 mil it'd be good, right? Thank you. I am ageless. I do appreciate that. I take my creatine and my glutamine every day,
man.
Important, you know what I mean?
That's right.
We still got to do the crypto coin, too. We got to get that done, dude.
We got to figure that out.
Coin,
Yeah. Called the blue chew coin, I guess, right?
Yeah. Or we got maybe it's called Bolt,
the Bolt coin, baby.
Yeah, Bolt coin.
That might be copyrighted. We got to say, maybe it's just the bro coin.
Bro coin, dude.
Yeah, bro coin. Okay, I like that.
Yeah.
It was the BBC, dude. Bolt Bros coin, dude.
Yeah, I like that. I like that.
Hey, everyone knows they like the BBC. Yeah.
BBC did.
The OPP?
No, the BBC.
The OPP. I like that too. Hey, well, all right. We've been going for about an hour now. Now, I will say this. I'll probably do a video on Derwin James. I might have a conversation with maybe a few other things. Also, James and I are talking about doing some short videos around all the draft picks, the top 32 draft picks. Would you like to see us do some real quick highlights on all the top 32 players? Just a real quick 5-minute video highlighting where they might go, what we think of them specifically. Again, don't know that we're going to sign these guys, but we could just do a little deep dive in some of these players. Would you like to see that in the coming weeks? Gives us something to do, and we can knock those out fairly quick.
Yeah, yes, that'd be great.
Sure.
And this is the season, man. I mean, last game is tomorrow, Super Bowl.
Yep.
It's on to 2025 for every team at that point. So I'm kind of excited about it, guys. Like, I'm looking forward to seeing what this offseason does. And to be honest, and I feel like there was a little bitter taste in my mouth after that loss in Houston. I was hoping for one win in the playoffs.
So dumb.
Yeah. Little bitter taste in my mouth, but it makes me more desire for next season to see what this offseason is going to bring us. And you know what? I feel more confident in this team, specifically the coaching side of things too. And by the way, once again, shout out to Jim Harbaugh. He did have his surgery on his heart and his hip surgery. So he's already like 13, 14 days out from surgery.
Sweet.
So he's back and ready to go again. So he's locked, cocked, and ready to rock, dude.
Locked, cocked, and ready to rock.
That's right.
he getting them blue chews ready.
Taking on the day with an enthusiasm unknown to mankind. Let's go.
I love it. No, nothing but good things to say about our coaching staff and everyone here. And again, guys, I think it's interesting. It's interesting that we didn't get anyone looked at right. I would have thought. Why am I drawing like on our defensive coordinator all of a sudden? Minter. Yeah. I kept thinking something different. I thought he was going to get a look, but maybe he just decided, nah, I don't. I want to stay. So
it's probably he's just hanging up. He's like, nope, bye.
Well, and I also think that maybe he looks at it like why would I leave at this point, right? Things are going great here, And maybe he thinks, hey, that's a lot to take on. I'm a young coach. Why should I do that? I think a lot more coaches should feel that way, in my opinion, but I don't know why they tend to just want to jump in on that head coaching role ASAP. Yeah. And I understand wanting to do it, but there's a right and wrong time to make that step. I've been a manager before, and I'll tell you, it was a wrong time for me to jump in as a manager, right? And so you hopped in. The culture was really weird.
Yeah.
And you're surrounded by a bunch of weirdos. You're like, oh my God, like what did I just walk into,
Yeah.
And so I'm just saying, like, sometimes you got to find the right position as well too to get into. But anyways, that's just my take. Yeah. So want to give some final thoughts?
Well, let's. I think this is a good question to answer, like right at the end here. So like,
yeah.
Let's add a stipulation to this, question. Yeah. That assuming the team stays exactly how it is right now, it's not going to. But who are you guys gonna pick at 22? Like, what is the biggest position of need, and who is the guy that you want to have filled in that position?
Yeah. It's such a hard thing to figure out right now. I mean, that's where it's like I want to wait till like free agency to really even answer that question. I mean, to me, it's like if we go out and fill with T. Higgins, why would we draft a wide receiver at 1? Like, obviously on paper, I'm going to say wide receiver is absolutely 1 for us. Like, we need another wide receiver to pair up with Ladd McConkey. But if we go out and get, T. Higgins, it doesn't matter at that point. We got 2 studs. Now you go to tight end at that point. Or you could go to edge at that point. You could go to guard at that point. Like, those are the 3 positions I think that are really, really needed. Now, once again, we're not going to go round 1 running back unless you see an Ashton Genty there or something like that. Or even to say the running back from Oregon, which is actually really, really solid too. Oh, gosh, his name is Trayvon Henderson too. Like, that's another guy. It's like an elite running back kind of guy. It would be kind of cool to have JK and Trayvon being a 1 and 2 Oregon State guys, or excuse me, Ohio State guys out there. So it's so hard to really answer that question right now. It's way too hard. It's like almost too early at this point.
I selfishly, I wouldn't mind having a wide receiver or a tight end, but look, I think you can get a wide receiver and a tight end in free agency, and you don't need to worry about that guy in the draft. Then you can get some more unsexy picks, like, a center or a right guard, and then it's like, that's an unsexy pick, guys. You know that, I know that. Nobody likes that. Or defensive lineman, But again, the other 2, anyways, I can talk about that forever, but maybe we should also do a video on the people we need to re-sign as well too.
Sure.
I know you did a little bit, James, but I think getting closer to June 1st would be important for us to figure that out, because I do think that there are a few people like, Tier Tart and Puna Ford, right? Those guys, we've got to get those guys. You can get them cheap. I don't think we'll have to pay them a ton of money. But like, why would you put your hopes and dreams on a rookie when you could just sign those 2 guys, maybe get another draft pick at some point as more depth? I don't know. That's just my take.
Nope. I disagree with you guys. Just with the scenario that I just kind of put out there, I think 100% our biggest need right now is hands down center. And I think, at 22, I would go with Jake Majors right now. I know people say that he's, going to be further on down the road, whatever.
Yeah, he's way down the road. Yeah, it's not a very good center class. That would be an extreme stretch. I mean,
you're right though. That's obviously they're going to pick the best player available for the positions of need, 100%. But hey, I think that right now currently rankings are low, but after combine or like after other things going on like that, center is 100% important, because Bozeman was only on 1-year contract, and he just didn't do that great. And I think, that we need to actually have a great center there. And I think that if one of those centers comes out on top, that's the guy we need to get.
Yeah. Well, nobody's saying a center is not important, Kyle, but I would just say that, you also don't want to stretch for a player that, you probably could have waited in the second round to get, right? But what I'm saying is, I guess, to answer the question, right, I truly just believe just exactly what James said and what Joe Ortiz said, we're just gonna get the best available player.
Yep.
So who that is, who knows? Nobody thought it would gonna be Joe Alt. We all didn't want it to be Joe Alt, and he was amazing, right? So
great, yeah.
And you know, they're looking like rock stars. We're looking like idiots. Of course, you know, Malik Neighbors is pretty damn good too. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But you know, I mean, what if we do a trade back scenario? Trade the 22 back, and we get like a second or a third, and a second, and you know, and then just have a bunch of second round picks and below, right? I mean, who knows? Maybe they decide to do that, you know. So, anyways, I'm just saying, a lot of things could happen, right? A lot of things could happen.
And just to kind of emphasize more on the center type of conversation, you could go after Ryan Kelly from the Colts, who's
correct,
been a rock solid center.
Yep.
You could get Drew Dahlman from the Falcons, who's one of those like centers
Really
that's really, really going crazy. I've actually, and it's funny, I went back and looked a little bit at the Panthers because I was thinking, oh, well, I mean, we got a guy there. Let's just see a team that might not have the ability to go and sign their guys. But Cade Mays came in for the second half of the season, and that team changed. Like, you actually look like you got a quarterback now for once. Maybe the center was the issue because the center essentially is you're a general involved on the field that helps the quarterback be a better quarterback. And so Cade Mays is one of those guys that might be a low-key signing too. So I think you have to, in my opinion, you have to go after a veteran center, not as a rookie center, because it's just the NFL to college jump is big. It's a totally different game at that point. So not many centers go immediately in from draft to NFL and extremely do well year one. It takes time.
Yep. Yeah, and that's where you have to sit back and ask yourself this question, right? What is our coaching staff going to value first, right?
Yep.
Maybe alignment. Then you know you're right, but again, going back to what Jim Harbaugh and Joe Ortiz said, the next person they would have picked was the guy that went to the Jags. Why do I keep forgetting his name?
Brian Thomas Jr.
Yeah, Brian Thomas Jr. And he was the latter end of the first round, right? So, okay, like not even Malik Neighbors, right? So, and
he
again,
balled out too, by the way, too. Like,
he did great. He did
great.
Really good.
Yep.
So I'm just saying that, like, that is just a very hard. It's just, I don't know. It just feels like so up in the air right now. But I think to James' point, it's going to matter what happens in free agency. I would rather have a veteran center than a rookie center.
100%.
Because I just don't feel like that works very well in the draft. I mean, unless he's absolutely, again, round one is game day ready week one. If that person is not game day ready week one, then I would say no way. Don't draft the guy first round.
And I feel like Lesko did that so many times where it's like reach first picks. Well, I'm not saying he probably did his best drafting in round one, but
yes,
I feel with Quentin Johnson specifically, he was like, hey, we'll draft you. And then you don't have to worry too much. You got guys in front of you kind of thing. And then when he needed to come out there, he wasn't mentally prepared and fully ready to go into the game.
Yeah.
So, and I think it's still kind of trying to figure out QJ this year. Now, I expect year 3 to be a big leap for him. I mean, and should be his third year. I always feel a third year guys, even to say Tuli Tuipulotu, I think third year could be a massive leap for him.
Yep.
This upcoming season. And I think QJ, you would hope that third year leap will happen for QJ and he'll really have a solid year.
See, and remember guys, like we got, what about Marcus May? What about all these other guys we scooped up that got injured that were playing great? And I'm just saying, like, we've got a lot of depth on this team, and I think the draft alone is just going to be some additional depth. That's it, right? Man, I just feel like that, man, and I have to admit that we did a great job of still scooping up valuable players during the season in waivers. That's why we highlighted them. You know, they did great. So I just really truly believe that we're going to be great. And you're right, Tuli is going to be amazing. I feel great with it. So, anyways, we've kind of beaten a dead horse here, but
all good. Yeah.
Any other final thoughts on that?
Not really, but we do have a good idea for a video that we can work on maybe this upcoming week. Is do the Chargers season awards. You know, like he did. Grandizer did send us a message in Facebook Messenger, I think. So so we can work on something like that. This would be kind of cool to do. So kind of show the world what our awards are for the Chargers. So that'd be cool.
I like it.
Yeah,
I like that. That's a good idea. That's a good idea.
That's a good one. Did you see Antonio Brown's award show, by the way?
No. No. What was that about?
Too funny, man. Dang, we'll talk about that off the show, dude. But I'm sure people in the chat saw it.
I don't know about that one. Yeah.
That's
hilarious.
Funny. Mm-hmm.
Well, thank you guys. Well, we're the Bolt Bros. And like I said, guys, we'll keep throwing videos at you. I think we're going to do those videos starting next week, highlighting some of these players. Little 5-minute little blurb, number 1 to number 5, whatever. We'll just do some real quick little highlights. It'll be kind of fun for us to just, kind of see what's coming down the pipe as far as these players are concerned.
For sure.
Right before the combine too, right? I want to get ahead of that conversation, so it'll be pretty fun. But
yeah.
Yep. All right, guys. Well, we're the Bolt Bros. We'll catch you guys in the next one.
Bolt Bros.
Bolt Bros. Let's
go.
Hey, what's up? Cameron Dick here watching Bolt Bros podcast. Let's go.
Charged up, Bolt Bros on the night.